Um,
Cool.
can't hear anything from you guys.
Is it?
Yeah, you guys just went completely chaotic. It's all good though. How's it going, Drew?
Good on you, man. How was your weekend?
It was all too brief, but it's good.
Time to go so quick, eh?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, as you can all see, I'm back. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Where's the feedback coming from?
That's coming from Dan because you guys are in the same room.
Just use my laptop, Dan. It's cool. Dan can just sit next to me. We just had a busy scouting a venue here for Investor of the Year. Say, how's it, Dan?
How you doing? How you doing,
How's it
Dave? How's it, everyone?
Cool,
Good.
man. So, Dave, anything interesting happened on the weekend?
No, not to the best of my knowledge, but it's been a long
No.
weekend.
That's cool, man. I had an awesome rugby weekend. Saturday, I watched the first team rugby team play at Edenville, which was cool, eh? And then yesterday was just rugby practice, eh? And Daniel and the guys were teaching the kids how to do grappling and wrestling and stuff. It was fun, eh?
Yeah, super fun. People got so tired. Dude.
Oh, they did, eh? It was awesome, though. And now it's Monday again, and yeah, we're looking at what's happening in the property markets. Please say if you have just joined us, this is Andrew and Dave's Coffee Chat and Daniel. And so it's going to be a really cool session because we've invited Darren Francis, who was the Investor of the Year winner for 2021, and we'll ask him a few questions. So if you have any questions for Darren or for myself, Dave, or Dan, please in the comments box there, just ask us the question. Say hi, where you're from, Joburg, Durban, Bloem, where you're on your journey. This is a support chat. We've got Daniel here from Sapper News. So any youngsters out there, any questions for Sapper News, fire them away. Now we are on school holidays, so quite a few people are going away here, Dave. So it's going to be a quiet period, I reckon. What do you think?
Yeah, we're definitely seeing a slowdown. A lot of people ready to take their time off. I think everyone's feeling like they need it. I think COVID's definitely made people a little more protective of their time off, which is good. But
Yeah.
it does mean that there's a slowdown, and load shedding really does kick that into high gear. Everyone being on stage for load shedding, they're just going to switch themselves off. Yeah. And just be like, cheers, I'm done.
I mean, I know like Alani was load shedded from 6 to 8, and then midday 12 to 2, and then 6 to 8 in the evening.
And midnight as well, right?
And midnight. And we've got the webinar tomorrow night, the development webinar at 6, Dave. And I reckon a lot of people are going to be shut off at 6, which doesn't help. But maybe on that note, maybe take us through the events, Dave, for the week.
Yeah, 100%. So it's a pretty quiet week. Just two things happening. Like Drew mentioned, there's the developments as an investment strategy tomorrow night. So if any of you are curious about getting involved in property investment, that's going to be a good one for you. I'm just going to put the link in the chats. So you can register for that one. A little bit later in the week, the 30th of June, coaching and legal sports. So Andrew and myself, along with some people from Bruno Smart Attorneys and Intergen, will be hosting our monthly coaching and legal support webinar. So if you've got access to any of our courses, you're a fund intermediate professional member. If you've got any questions, make sure you register for that and ask your questions ahead of time. It really does help us if you ask your questions sooner rather than later. And then that's it for this week. A little further afield, we've got the Cape Town Mastermind. So that's being hosted by Darren Francis and myself. That's happening on the 8th and the 9th of July. We'll talk about that a little more later, though, I think.
Yeah, awesome. And I know Dan has a youth event, Dave. I think it's next week Saturday, is it? Or
so there's an event in Northwest that is happening this Thursday. That's going to be awesome.
At the university in the Northwest,
Mafeking. So anyone that is based in the Northwest, so if you know of anyone that will be it will be awesome to network and find out a bit about you, where you're on your journey, and to kind of educate and add value to that event. It is for SAP and youth, but open to the public. If you would like to meet the team and find out what we are doing in our portfolios and possibly what we can learn from each other, it will be awesome to meet you.
Yeah, definitely, man. So that's this Thursday in Mafeking, a live event, and then I think it's next Saturday is the webinar workshop.
Yeah, so it is a work around property investment. How can the youth get involved in property investment? I'll share my story, how I finance my deals. I'll get Ben Malapile to share his story, and it's literally just a place for all of us to network and talk about property investment and entrepreneurship. It is on the 16th of June.
16th of July.
Yeah,
so I'll be back by then.
Yeah.
And it's a free event, eh?
Our free event open to the public from about 9 till 2 to 3. We have so much fun. We go into different ways to financial deals. We go into different ways to find deals, which is the most important thing I feel.
And that's for the youth. But how old is the youth?
Under 30, I would say, but anyone young at heart. So if you feel you are young at heart, definitely join us.
No, definitely, yeah, under 30. But if you're young at heart, you can still join Daniel. So yeah, not too many events. I'm excited about tomorrow night though. If you're an aspiring developer or you are a developer and you're making mistakes and you're getting things wrong, myself and Mark Berman at 6 o'clock are jumping on to talk about developments and the myth around developments and is developing actually for you. It's a strategy that can make you a hell of a lot of money. But it's also a strategy where you can lose a lot of money very quickly. So if you are an aspiring developer out, please join us tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. But like Dave was saying, we've got a really cool guest. But before we bring on Darren Francis, Dave, who's joined us so far? I see Jakub's there.
Yeah, Jakub's here, Eve is here, and Brad Wright, as always, is joining us from YouTube. Good to have a regular over there on YouTube.
Awesome.
That's about it. If you guys do have any questions, now's a good time. We're going to bring on Darren Francis in a second. Drew, do you want to do an introduction and talk about who Darren is?
Yeah, so I met Darren last year on our ventures. We were doing Investor of the Year, which we're launching again in July. And yeah, Darren's from Cape Town, and Darren's got a really inspiring story. And Darren's had some great success. Darren's part of Sappin. And we asked Darren if he could just come live with us so we could talk about his mastermind with Dave in Cape Town next week, as well as Investor of the Year. Darren, welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you loud and
clear. So nice. Perfect. So nice seeing you guys. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Andrew, Dave, Ms.
Pleasure.
The media, the media king. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. Now, Darren. So Darren of the Investor of the Year. Tell us a bit. Where should we start?
I think where I'd like to start is maybe about his mastermind, because there's a lot of, say, misconceptions around Cape Town investing that it's probably impossible. But I see every week Darren posts about new deals he's doing.
Exactly.
And I'd definitely like to hear a bit more about that.
Because I think a guy last week, Monday, was asking, can we still get deals in Cape Town? Do they exist? So let's start there, and then we'll jump into your story. We'll jump into Investor of the Year. We'll jump into the mastermind, and then take it from there. Over to you, Darren.
Cool. Thank you so much, man. Question. And let me help debunk that myth. There's definitely deals out here in Cape Town, very much so. I was able to do this in about 18 months. I've changed my strategy a bit. Bought vacant land. Just into another deal, which we're going to do a mastermind. So there's definitely lots of for budding investors, people who want to invest in property in town. Lots of options available. So yeah, and that's Dave and I had a conversation about doing a master, a master class, a mastermind. Putting our heads together and showing people that if the deals are out there, you just need to know how to look for them. You need to have this to ensure that once a deal crosses your table, that you'll be able to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And this mastermind that you
bring in one. Yeah, just one example for before I forget about it. I think about 2 or 3 of my deals that I got via 24. If you deals out there. You just need to know, and the market is doing something at the moment. I'm going to share, but at the mastermind, I'm definitely going to share with individuals what the market is doing and how you can get into the market.
And Darren, if somebody wanted to invest in Cape Town, right? Are we talking northern suburbs, southern suburbs? Like, which area would you steer them towards if they're starting out a property and they want to break into the Cape Town market? How would that look, and where would it look? What would it look like?
So the principles that I use at this point in time, we are seeing quite a big push to the affordable market. The affordable market in Cape such a nature, not a lot of developments or not a lot of these are becoming available for first-time buyers in the affordable market. So in the affordable market, you have an over demand for housing, for affordable housing in Cape Town, and that is a need that the four of us cannot fill. The demand is very, very huge, and that is or something that budding investors should be looking at, especially in the Cape Town. The 1+ properties, all it has its place, but the between 400 and 950,000 rand properties, those properties are in huge demand at this point in time.
What price bracket's that? You said 800.
I think it's 400, huh?
950. 400 to 950. That is in huge demand. Yeah, huge demand at the moment.
Okay, fantastic. Nice one. So if anyone has any questions for Darren relating to the Cape Town property market, please ask us now. Dave, have any questions come through yet?
Yeah, we got a question from Yaku. What's your take on energy issues versus opportunities? Is it worthwhile considering taking rental properties off grid as a strategy to keep your properties occupied in these tough times for consumers? It's a pretty good one. Challenging.
That's a very good question. In my view, if you have the funds to off the grid, the initial getting you into that side, getting you off the grid is going to cost you a lot of money. So the startup is going to cost you a lot of money. Eventually, after 5 years, you'll see you'll maybe start breaking even. For the where in the market that we are dwelling in, that's one of the things that we don't look at that type of thing. People in the affordable market won't be able to afford those kind of hefty prices that comes with staying on the grid. So for me, it's a good to have, but for now, no.
Absolutely. What's your take on it, Yaku and Brad? And while Yaku asked the question, but Brad and Eva and everyone else, what's your take on Yaku's question? I mean, Dave, what's your view?
So for me, there is two different segments here. Service units, so student accommodation, Airbnbs. I'm a little more sensitive there. There, I'm going to spend a little more time, especially putting like internet on battery backup, that sort of thing, making sure that if we can put some lights on battery backup. That's definitely what I'm doing. For your buy-to-lets, it's a little harder to sell because it's hard to benefit from that because you're no longer paying for the electricity yourself, so you're not going to see the upside of the reduced electricity costs. So that's a real challenge there, and you can't bill your tenants for electricity usage on a per meter basis because that means you're a provider. So there's some different challenges when it comes to the buy-to-let market. So for me, buy-to-lets, I definitely try and make sure there's gas because it's just one of those things. We install gas, even though the price of gas is horrendous as well. It's just one of those things. So on a buy-to-let, you're not likely to recoup those costs unless you're going to find a way to charge a premium for what you're providing, but there's no real good benchmarks on how to do that. And so in that situation, buy-to-let, I'd say just leave them with, put gas in, so make some recommendations to your tenants, but service accommodation, Airbnb, student accommodation, you can be a little more aggressive there. Especially with student accommodation, because of the amount of electricity wastage we see in units like that. Getting things onto proper energy efficiencies, getting proper battery backups just keeps it a little better, because they'll just do all kinds of things to keep things running.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I can see there, Dave. Ridwan was saying that he's looking at getting backup power in all his Airbnbs.
Yeah.
His geysers and his internet system is already on. So, Ridwan, how much are we talking here? Are you spending tens of thousands of rands? Are you spending 5,000 inverters? What are you actually doing there, Ridwan? Share with the group. And I can see there's some other comments. Yako, you should be able to charge for a prepaid meter, ? Just off the subject here, Gordon is saying he's looking forward to the mastermind next week, Darren, with you and Dave. When will the team provide further details? As I purchased my tickets, I'm sure they'll give some details on this call, Dave.
So we won't be sharing addresses or anything like that. Obviously, we've got to protect some confidentialities. We are looking at a live deal. So Gordon, you can expect to hear from us early next week with information about where you're going to be attending, where you're going to be joining us, stuff like that. Again, we're making sure we play close to the cards. We don't want 40 people unplanned rocking up to Darren's investment property. We just need to make sure everyone knows where they're going and make sure that everyone who doesn't need to be there isn't there. That's the goal.
Fantastic, and I can see you've answered there too, Nambulo. How do you join the development webinar tomorrow at 6 p.m.? You posted a link there, Dave. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
Cool. I know that Daniel had a question for Darren.
Yeah. So Darren, I know the few times we have spoken, you did share how passionate you are about giving back to your community and how you do work with young people. And my question is literally centered around, as you know, Investor of the Year is being launched end of July. So we are having a youth category, which is Youth Business of the Year and Youth Investment Deal of the Year. Because Steppen Youth aims to empower young property entrepreneurs, so not just investors. So in your opinion, if there is a youngster in Cape Town looking to start a business in the property sector, with a cleaning company, project management, in your opinion,
or anything,
in your opinion, what advice would you have? And from the youngsters you're currently working with, how are they finding it in Cape Town? Are they getting success? Could you shed a bit of light on that?
So, in terms of getting success, yes, these guys are getting success in Cape Town. There are a lot of opportunities in Cape Town and South Africa as a whole. I think for youngsters, I always advocate the guy that works with me. I always throw this number around. 40% of our population is unemployed, and 55% just in Cape Town is unemployed. And there's such a lot of opportunities out there, for these youngsters to exploit or to get involved in. And I think it is time, and I think what you're doing is absolutely awesome, because you're giving youngsters, the opportunity to see opportunities, and you're giving them the tools to extract those opportunities. So that's a very good thing. It's currently happening, especially in Steppen. And I think we in Cape Town, if I look at the hunger, people, the hunger for youngsters wanting. My prediction is the future of our country is not, and maybe an opportunity for all the young people that's listening. The country is not based on the employment that you're going to get. It is based on the employment or the opportunities that youngsters that you are going to create. And Daniel is seeing such a lot of excitement in that particular or sector. I'm really excited to hear that there's going to be a young person category in the Investor of the Year, because that is where the country's future is going to be. It's going to be in the hands of a youngster, and how better is it not to give a young platform to show his skills, and also from people like yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let me just see if Darren's finished there.
Yeah.
Internet lagging. Oh, you finished there. Okay, brilliant. And I think, that is that good?
Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
And I think that leads me on to Investor of the Year. So, I mean, Darren, there are some new people joining us today that don't know what Investor of the Year is. Tell us a bit more about your experience in Investor of the Year and the importance of the initiative, and how winning the Investor of the Year, how's that changed your life?
Wow. I think the journey, my property journey, I spoke to Lido a few weeks ago, and I mentioned, when I stumbled on Sapin, it was the turning point of how I had about 3 flips that I was busy with. And just by joining Sapin and just seeing what other people are doing in the market, I actually saw what I'm doing wrong and how I can improve my how I can improve my business. And that's what I did. By literally just listening to what experts are doing, what Andrew, Dave, and Daniel were doing, and I could compare that. I saw the advert for the Investor of the Year. Obviously, I was following, all the marketing promo that was going out, all the videos, and I told myself, you know what? I think I was in my 3rd or 4th property, and I told myself, I'm going to enter this competition, and I don't know what is going to hold, because looking at the people that was winning and what they were doing, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm just gonna give it a chance and rub shoulders with actual winners and see what they are doing in the space. So yeah, it has changed my life completely, because I've literally, the mistakes that I made as a property investor, I wasn't planning on taking this thing really seriously after my 3rd flip, because I just thought, yeah, I'm gonna make some money, and getting into the network. That was when my focus, and I started seeing, hey, but I can much more with my property investment journey.
Absolutely, Darren. I know Daniel's got a question for you.
Yeah, so talk to us about the reason, say, why you joined the Investor of the Year. I think that's one of the most powerful stories I've ever heard. Hey, listening, I couldn't make the event, but listening from back home, for someone that has done a property deal, would you advise them to do it? Maybe share someone that isn't sure about joining, why they should join. Is it about them, or is it more than that?
Yeah, I think it's a whole lot. It's way more than that. Me coming from the Caps, I grew up in Tafelsig. Part of my story, I stared down the barrel of a gun on 2 occasions. The second time, I almost got shot and killed by my own friend who was drugged. I grew up in a very tough area, and where we just didn't know what was going on, and I saw, I was introduced to opportunities. I saw what opportunities can do, and I saw the Investor of the Year as an opportunity, and I thought to myself, you know what, through wherever I'm going to go in my process. If I'm going to make it through the first round or the second round, it's an opportunity for me to learn and to be better at this thing that I'm doing. Coming from the Cape Flats, you're not introduced to opportunities, but I saw this opportunity, and I'm hoping that they are going to be much more. That's what this network is about, and look at it as a whole, and say, I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to own it. It doesn't matter where you get in the process. Is that you, as long as you sign up, because you're going to learn along the way. I cannot stress how good it was when I saw other guys, my competitors, what they're doing in the market, and I could learn from that. Because when you join the of the year, it's a very, 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 very niche environment, and that takes learning from year to year, literally in the space of 1 or 2 sessions. You can literally get much information that can propel you from year to year.
Yes, thank you so much, Darren. Yeah, totally agree with you. It's about learning from your peers, from experienced judges that have been in the property sector for a long time. And I think something you did say when you started out is you actually heard Leroy speaking, and how you started your journey because you saw Leroy in the Investor of the Year 2019. And I mean, the amounts of people that must have messaged you back and say, if you can do it, Darren, coming from the Cape Flats, we believe we can do it as well. And that's the thing for me, literally inspiring a new generation or a new set of say, geez, because you did it, I can as well, which is so inspirational.
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's have a look here, guys. Are there any more questions coming through?
Yeah.
Darren's still speaking. Go for it, Darren. I think there's a lag. I'll let Darren finish.
No, I was concurring with Daniel. It is very these kind of opportunities doesn't come around often. It doesn't come around often. I mean, Investor of the Year comes around once a year. The amount of things that I've learned in this short space is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. And I cannot stress it enough. If you think that that you want to get into property, or you're busy with the first deal, it doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter where you are, as long as you start. That is the most important thing.
Absolutely, Darren. I completely agree with you. And I think for a lot of people, that's a scary part. What if I fail? What if I don't make it? How do I get started? But that's one of the reasons why you guys are actually having a mastermind in Cape Town, face-to-face, right? So anyone that wants to learn, how do you actually do this property thing? But I want to ask Dave and yourself, Darren, walk us through this mastermind, because we've never done this before. When is it? How much is it? What's involved? How does it work? I think it's the 8th and 9th, you said, oh?
Yeah, so it's the 8th and the 9th. So on the 8th, Darren is going to take us to one of his properties. He's got a property somewhere in the southern suburbs. We're going to do viewing. So Darren, maybe you want to talk about why we were doing the viewing first, and then we can talk about the mastermind.
Okay, perfect. So I think the mastermind is such a awesome event, because I've been receiving quite a large amount of inboxes where people me, they want a journey, they want to sit down for coffee and find out how I do things. And Dave and I, we came together and we said, you know what, here's an opportunity. I have this potential flip, and in the community where it all started for me, and this is so ideal, because I will be able to share, or we will be able to share. I started, looking at the numbers looking at, it's a bare property. It's almost similar to my first flip, and it's an opportunity for people who's either busy with first flip or wanting to get into the flipping industry or busy with the second or third flip, and they can literally see what type of properties are available and how you can either use flip or to make it into a buy to let or whatever. So we're literally presenting a clean canvas to budding investors, and we will draw that picture for you and show you from a clean canvas. We are going to, together with the individuals, we're going to create a picture, whether it's multi-let or a flip. We're going to create that picture for you where you can say, oh, so this is how you do it, so this is how I can do it in my strategy. So
yeah, 100%. It's
Awesome.
going to be
Yeah.
fun. And then
So
the
the
mastermind,
Friday,
we're going to spend a lot of time covering that. That's good.
yeah. Sorry, man. I just wanted to touch on this. So on the Friday, we're going to walk through the property. There's no electricity. There's no running water. But you'll be able to see how the property is going to transform. You'll be able to ask questions in terms of, why do I flip? How do I flip? When do we flip? What are the type of contractors that we use? And I'll share some of the secrets, on that particular day that when you leave there, you can literally go and buy it. That's guaranteed.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's also a lot about spending time talking about Cape Town and how is it different, and how Darren and I finding deals. We've got a few other people who be showing up and joining us to talk about how they're finding deals in Cape Town, because there is this perception that Cape Town is an impossible market, and it's not impossible. There's some unique challenges. So Darren and I are going to spend some time talking about how do you get this to work in Cape Town? What are you missing? What are you trying that might not be working? And definitely just spending some time networking as well. Saturday, we've got some time planned for a bit of lunch. So some local investors, sit down, talk to each other, network, build your relationships, and then we'll go from there. It's going to be a fun one.
Awesome. Sounds good. And there is a link in the comments box there, Dave. If people want to join, if you are local to Cape Town and you want to see Darren and Dave, click that link for more information. Geez, it's already 25 to 2. I think, Dave, let's quickly run through what's happening this weekend next again. If you have any questions for Darren, I'll ask Darren to leave lasting comments at the end. But let's just run through what's happening this week, Dave?
So this week, tomorrow night, we've got development as investment strategy. That's going to be with Mark Berman. We're going to be talking about, is development a decent strategy for you to look at? On Thursday, Daniel's at Northwest University running that event. So see, they're touring the Northwest Province. So if you guys are local to that, definitely be joining. And that evening, Andrew and I will be hosting the coaching and legal support. And then the week after that would be Darren and mine's Mastermind here in Cape Town, starting on the Friday with the live viewing of the property. And then on Saturday, we'll be in a boardroom having that mastermind session. So it's going to be a good fun one. I'll put all the links in chat box again. And we'll go from there.
And we are in school holidays, aren't we? In public school, so it's going to be a fairly quiet time, which is always good. Always good to catch up. So yeah, let's just see if there's any lasting question. Darren, have any more questions for Darren?
Yeah, I think it's all good. It's all good. It's going to be an awesome event that Dave and Darren are having next week. So it's going to be cool for all the Coatonians to meet up. I'll be in the Northwest as well. So having a cool tour of South Africa.
Yeah, it's cool.
So it's going to be awesome. And yeah, thank you so much, Darren. Nice chatting to you, Mark, and nice hearing all the awesome things you're doing out in Cape Town.
Thanks so much, man. Thank you. Same here.
I can see that Jaco Ruiz is in Belgium, is coming to South Africa in July. He only lands in Cape Town on the 9th, so he'll just miss the mastermind. But next time, Jaco, that's cool. Now, Darren, because it's 25 to 2 already, could you just leave us with some last word What do you want to leave our audience today?
Okay, so two things. One, around the mastermind. I've always through my property journey, I always look at trends. I look at trends, which informs my strategy, and I'm going to share at the mastermind on the and the 9th. Or the 8th, I'm going to share what's happening in the market. It is something that's going to blow your mind. It's either you know about it, but I doubt it, because this is a very close kept secret. What's in the market, in the Western Cape market specifically. I'm going to share some of my findings, back it up with some facts, in terms of what the market. We are in a very, 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 very good space. People see the negative side, but I'm seeing the upside, and share some of that information with you, which will then inform your own strategy, because it's definitely informed mine. And secondly, those people who wants to get involved with SAPN and the Investor of the Year, I'm appealing to you. Do not be afraid to start. Start. There's no right or wrong. You will be taught on, or you will learn from people like Daniel and Dave, and peers, that's going to join the Investor of the Year. It is going to inform your property strategy, and property is one of the things that is going to create multiple thousands and thousands of millionaires. You can become a property millionaire literally in a few months. But property is going to be the big thing that's going to drive this country forward. And I hope and pray that a lot of you, when you hear this, join the Investor of the Year. You can be the investor. I never thought it was possible, but hey, I became Investor of the Year, and that was all thanks to the South African Property Investors Network.
Absolutely. Darren, thank you so much for your time. Dave, anything from your side?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate it. It's one of those things that Darren and I are testing this out. We're trying this out. It's something we'd like to do again in Cape Town. So we'd like to see you guys show up. And if you're there, then we can definitely make sure we're happening again, that we can pull it through and keep on doing things like this. That's it. Everyone asks for these things, and we're trying to provide them. So I want to see you guys there. Really excited. It's going to be a fun one. But Cape Town, you're going to have to put some warm clothes on and come outside for a bit. I'm sorry.
Nice and cold, freezing. Yeah, definitely. If it works in Cape Town, Dave, we can do it in Joburg. Yeah, we can do it in Durban. I think it's a great idea. It's the best way to learn. Actually, walk on site, right, with an investor who's doing the deal. I think it's fantastic. Awesome. Dan, anything from your side, man?
No, all good. Hey, all good. I'm happy again to be part of the coffee chat, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah, awesome, mate. Darren, thank you very much. Have a great week to all of you. All the links are in the comments box if you want to join me tomorrow night at 6 o'clock with Mark Berman. Otherwise, we'll see you all next week.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cool. Thanks all.
Sure. Thanks so much.